Welcome back to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thanks again for joining us. Our guest is Curren Price. Curren is a member of the California State Senate. We thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
It appeared that the parties would come together and put on the ballot an initiative that would have extended some taxes that were passed a couple of years ago as a way to close the budget deficit. Half cuts, half taxes.
Yeah.
It's fallen apart.
It has, and we're very disappointed. The whole idea of a balanced approach to getting out of this problem is one I think that makes a lot of sense. We've got to have some taxes, we've got to make some cuts. Democrats stepped up to the plate, offering over $12 billion in cuts.
And that is passed. Hard
cuts to health, education, social service programs. The other half of that was supposed to be the extension of taxes. And you know, the discussions have been going on with the governor and the Republicans over this since he was inaugurated.
Right, in January.
We were led to believe that there was some movement with that, at least two. It just didn't happen.
Let me ask you this. We know that there can be no ballot initiative now in June. We just don't have time.
Right.
What Governor Brown is saying is, I'm going to go to the voters, I'm going to get signatures, and I'm going to get put on the ballot the extension of taxes. The problem is it's really not an extension because the taxes expire in July.
It's a new tax.
It would, in theory, be a new tax. Putting that aside, let's say, for argument's sake, it does pass in November. But you have months and months and months of no revenue, so how are you going to deal with that?
Yeah. Well, it's going to require some additional cuts, and unless all of a sudden there's additional revenue. And that's why this is really still a problem. Even if it gets on the ballot, there's still in some expenses, I've been told, could be shifted. There could be some adjustments made, but largely it's still going to increase the deficit.
Now, the Chief Legislative Analyst's Office, nonpartisan, has said without this extension, for example, primary and secondary education would need to be cut by $4 billion.
Right.
Explain how you keep schools open.
Yeah. It's going to be a real challenge. There are going to be some schools that will have to close. There are going to be medical facilities that will have to close. There are going to be agencies that are serving the poor and infirm. They're going to have to close if this goes through. And that's why it's so important. That's why it was important to get it on the ballot in June. It's going to be even more important to get something on the ballot in November. And yes, it won't be an extension. It will be a new tax. And for some, you know, that's a red herring. That's a red flag.
Let's talk about higher education. The community college system has said that they're going to have to take fewer students. The Cal State system has said they're going to have to take fewer students. Same with the UC system.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that situation?
Well, I mean, it doesn't end there. They're going to take fewer students, and there are going to be fewer classes for those students that are remaining. It's a real problem, and this is the kind of infrastructure issue that we should be focusing on. We should be trying to maintain the educational infrastructure as we can, because that's how we're going to be pulling out of this.
I want to back up for a second and just try to figure out this whole situation, looking at it as almost a study. The Democrats overwhelmingly dominate both houses of the legislature. 8 constitutional offices, all Democratic, and yet, because of the way the Constitution is written, you can't get anything passed if it deals with the tax increase or tax extension. How will you ever get anything done?
I don't know, but it is the kind of gridlock that disillusions citizens, and quite frankly, I think it disillusions a lot of lawmakers as well. Hopefully, we can reach some accommodation. We can reach across the aisles. We can work with individuals who understand the importance.
But all you needed was 2
exactly,
in both houses.
And we couldn't get them. And that tells you the strength and the power of that those had who feared being drummed out of office, who feared the criticisms that they approved taxes, and they chose not to.
Senator, thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thank you. Back to HLN.